Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in today to spend some time with me on this. Well, it was a beautiful, well, it wasn't really a beautiful Friday. It was back and forth. It was a bit manic. We had sun, and then we had rain, and then we had sun again and rain. And Mother Nature is a little bit off, just like I think many of us are these days. So, yeah, here we are. And I don't think we're going to have a nice weekend either. So I'm a little sad, you know, me and summer and there's not that many weekends in the summer. So, and then of course I'm coming into the airport today, into the studio, and this woman, I guess, landed from the airplane, and she has a like a doormat, and it has pumpkins on it, and like welcome fall. I'm like, listen, you need to just put that away because that is just too much, and you're really rushing life. So she laughed and she said it was a good price at Costco, but shame on you, Costco, for having that stuff out already. Anyway, but you are listening to the Financial Chick Show, and I'm the Financial Chick. My name is Denise Nostrom, the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you want to know more about me or my firm, you can check out my website at financialchickshow.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions, so like our pages to get updates and see what is happening. So, it's just been a very interesting day, I guess, here on Long Island. We had a pretty big breakthrough of an incident that had started back in 2010. I woke up this morning learning about the Gilgo murders and the arrest of a suspect, and as we all probably did. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking we're probably going to learn a bit more about this new information as the days go on over the weekend and into next week. But I'm sure it was pretty hectic in North Massapequa today, which was apparently where the suspect lived, and he was arrested this morning. It's just sad. It's just super sad that all of these things happen, and there's just a lot of crazy people that are out there. And on the other side, unfortunately, you know, we're never going to legislate people to not be violent or not be hateful. I think that all kind of starts before we even become adults, and the way we were raised and different things that have gone on in our lives and that type of thing. So, you know, this was a pretty sad story. A lot of people lost their lives, and you know, if this is the gentleman that had done it, I hope he has to pay dearly for all of this. So, like I said, there's if you're listening to LA News Radio, I'm sure you've heard a lot about it today. I think the last update that the gentleman John, my guy that works in the board there, said at 2:00 that they had the last update. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot to unpack, but it's been a story that I've been like looking. I'm sure most of you have. I mean, there's been movies on it, and you know, 2020, and you know, it's a national story. You know, but you know, obviously, unfortunately, done here on Long Island. So I guess we'll find out more. But on another news, for those of you that have teenagers, I'm sure you can relate. I'm working on less than 5 hours of sleep today. My daughter was working last night and wanted to hang out with some friends, which is normal. That's what she does. But she, quote, lost track of time, then realized that her battery in her car was dead, so she needed to get a jump for her battery. She said her friends would help, and more than an hour later, she arrived home. I asked her if any of her friends knew how to jump a car, and she said, well, this one guy did. Later, she told me that he had to figure it out too. So I guess in another weird situation, these are things that people don't learn today. Basic skills are lost on people today. And it was very interesting because several years ago, I had an all-male staff, and one of the gentlemen went to lunch, and his car needed a jump for the battery. And the other gentleman said, "Oh, I'll go help him." But when he got there, neither one of them knew how to use the cables to jump the car. They had to find somebody that knew how to do it. So just basic skills. We really need to get our acts together, right? Right, John? And raising a teenager is not really for the weak of heart. But I think today we have a call in. Don't we have somebody on the line? So I am going to be taking the call. And I think it's Joe. We got Joe on the line. Hey, how you doing, Joe? I'm doing all right, doing well. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hope so. I mean, how you feel pretty confident that this is the guy? Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I guess it did take a while, but at least we got to a good place. Years ago, I had a client. He moved out of state, well, many years ago, but I would say probably like 2011, 2012, police officer, and he was on the case early on, and he just said, I think that was the thing that really made him want to walk away and retire. He just said it was just absolutely harrowing, just the, what was going on, and just the scene itself. And he was in CSI, so he saw stuff, but this was really, it really bothered him, this case. Mm. I have heard about it, and I have not had a chance to see it, but it's on my radar, and like I hope to do it within the next week. And it's just very interesting that we had talked a little bit earlier about that. Um, I'm on the Town of Brookhaven Women's Services, and we have been planning all year a conference that is going to discuss human trafficking. It's called Human Trafficking, the Sad Reality and What You Should Know. So we have some of the big guys. We have Sheriff Toulon that's going to be there. And we've got District Attorney Ray Tierney, that's going to be on the scene. And it's going to go down on September 30th at 8:30 a.m. at Brookhaven Town Hall on 1 Independence Hill, Farmingville. So it's really interesting that you said this, Joe, because in talking to people and some people realize that human trafficking is an issue, and some people just have no idea how bad it is. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and maybe the movie and unbelievable. Now that's a pretty big statement, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is really, it's scary to even think that, because this is something that is affecting so many people, and really the people that are the most fragile are children. And wouldn't that be something that people would jump on the bandwagon and say, wow, we really need to address this? Yes, I've heard that. Agreed. Mm-hmm. Okay. Stop it. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Well, we're running into the break, but can you stay after the commercial break to talk a little bit more about this? Because I think we definitely have a lot more that we can discuss about this topic for sure. All right, Joe, man, I appreciate it. So this is the financial chick, Denise Nostrom, the company's diversified financial solutions. I help you look for financial solutions when you feel like there are none. Feel free to contact me at 631-758-8691. We'll be back after this short break.
2 minutes. I like
Okay.
that discussion. I'm actually going to see it tomorrow.
I know. I got to see that the movie too. For my Facebook people, I got a call today, and we're talking a little bit about the movie Sound of Freedom, and with this human trafficking, and in light of what happened this morning with the Gilgo Beach murders, and the fact of maybe we're getting some goodness in the world that we're all looking for. They arrested a suspect today, and I had a caller today that's wanted to talk a little bit about it. So listen, we're just not just financial, we're humans too, and there's things that we can help and improve our New York, Long Island, and really the country in general. That's a good thing to discuss. So he's going to come back, Joe, and we're going to talk more about this, and a little bit about, I don't know if you can see this, this is the human trafficking conference that we're going to be having in September locally here. So this was something that's been on board way before we even heard about these various things, or even the movie came out. So the timing couldn't be any more perfect, actually. And I think people need to know it's an issue.
45.
Okay, thank you. So we're at the commercial break right now, but I'm going to get back into it. And like I said, we're doing something a little bit different today, but it's important. Get some water.
30 seconds.
How much?
30.
30? Okay, thank you. Just kidding. Welcome back. This is Denise Nostrom, the Financial Chick. My company is in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all of those changes. So today we're mixing it up a little bit. I have a caller on the line, and what we're doing is we're talking a little bit about, well, the morning started for most of us here on Long Island with the Gilgo Beach murders, having an arrest of a suspect this morning, and that was kind of a big thing. And then also the release over the past couple of weeks of the movie Sound of Freedom. So Joe, are you still with me? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we started talking a little bit about the movie before the break, but let's dig a little deeper in that. And so you said you saw it, and can you give us a little bit, without giving away the whole thing, about what the movie was about and what they went into? Mm. Hmm. Well, like I said before, the scary thing is a lot of people, don't realize that this is a problem. And if they realize that a problem, if they realize it's a problem, they don't understand the severity of it and how widespread it is. So the movie, I think, brings that out, right?
Yeah, they always think that, when you hear about something like this can't be in the country that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you always got to hear it. It's never going to happen here. So we're the number one, leading cause and consumer and producer of this crime, really. And it's all funded through us. And
Wow.
it's all shipping containers from country to country, but it starts here and ends here. And until more people see it, there's a reason why they're not promoting it. It's got to be true.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It seems like there's been so many things over the last 3 years. It's like everything that the crazy people have said from the time of the pandemic has been true. So I mean, why not this?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think people, even just the regular person, to just go see it. I think everyone must see it. It's that important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some people won't because it is very a harrowing situation, but we can't just close our eyes and think it's going to go away. And again, to be edgy on another level, the scary part is that we have our borders wide open and people are flying over the border. And unfortunately, many of them can't work, and that's another whole topic for another show. But the point is that these people need to make money to buy things. So, if the problem is here already, do we think by having people flow over this country, which if flow over the border into this country, they're mostly young males. Sorry, that's just how it is. Do you think it's going to get better or worse?
Nothing's going to change until people actually take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, I think the average person feels like no matter what, and from any side, you got to remember the government, two wings of the same bird, it's
Mm-hmm.
right and the left, it's all together, and so people actually, take a stand and say, it's enough. I just find it very weird that we can't find some fraud and cocaine to the White House.
Seriously. That alone is just, we have Secret Service, we have this, we have cameras and everything. Are you serious? Do they really think we're that stupid? Right. Exactly. You feel like we're being punked, right? It's just where's Ashton Kutcher because he's going to come out and he's going to tell us it's all fake, right? But stuff is real, and it's unbelievable what's going on. It really is. Yep, yeah, it's true. And we think about even the Epstein case and with the girlfriend there or whatever her name is. It's Liz Ghislaine or whatever the case may be. We never tie anything up in a bow. We never finish. It seemed like there's no closure in anything, and that was a pretty serious thing. I mean, there was lists, there was names, but money, and I'm the money girl, I'm the financial chick, right? But money sometimes is the root of all evil, and it's just disgusting that our country can be so dark and really, again, hurt the people that are our most precious cargo, which is our children. It's just insane. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what people, again, it's a challenge. People are moving and shaking and they're working and they got the kids and they got the maybe older family that they're taking care of. Everybody's so pressed for time and so stressed out. But, we really all need to take a step back and just kind of look at what's happening and just almost do a restart. I almost feel that's what we need in this country. Mm-hmm.
take their own hands because we're all being divided on purpose because they know if we were united, they wouldn't have a chance to do anything against us.
So true. It's so true. And again, the government's just there to facilitate or to not to dictate, you know, and that's basically what's going on now. And we're not any different than, you know, say Russia or China at this point in terms of like our hierarchy. You know, it's us versus them. And that's really not what we grew up to be. And you know, I work with a lot of clients that are from other countries, Croatia and whatnot, that have had, you know, communism as their base, and they come to this country because they're so excited. One of my clients, she drew a picture of the U.S. flag when she was like 7 or 8 years old, and her dream was to get here, and she loves it here. But she's like, my gosh, I look at it now and I say, this is not really what I knew America to be. And I think most of us that have even been here, we're not recognizing our own country anymore.
No, yeah, it's just really, it's basically just people waiting, you know, the average person just waiting for it, saying, like, no, it's gonna pass, this will be awesome, the next thing, and no, like, this is it, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming, and, like, you can't have this much government control in anyone's life, I don't know who would ever sign up for that,
Mm-hmm.
it's all gonna be, you know, it's like people, the regular person just wants to be left alone and raise their kids the way that they want to be raised.
Exactly. And I just like you know, you have 2 girls, I have a daughter, so you know, I fear for that. You know, my daughter's driving now, and you know, I just get nervous. I just tell her, listen, just always keep your eyes open and be aware of your surroundings at all times, because this stuff can happen in an instant, and it really, you know, and I'm talking about human trafficking or anything like that. It's quite frightening. It's not the world that we grew up in, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. But the more people talk about it, the more people take 5 minutes instead of blocking people on social media, maybe hear the other person out.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
start talking and, you know,
Yeah.
talk to things and get the conflict.
Well, hopefully the tide is turning, but I am so glad you called today. It was perfect because I was actually going to talk about this human trafficking event that we're having in September, and you know, and the movie, the timing of the movie that came out, that was really incidental. Like you know, we were planning this since the beginning of the year, so the timing of that was pretty awesome. But Joe, thank you so much, and best to you and your family. And yeah, let's keep fighting the big fight, man. We got to do it.
Of course, you do. You're the best. And I'll catch you later.
All right, take care, Joe. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. All right, take care. So I want to thank Joe for calling in today. Like I said, we did something a little different, but I want to thank all of you for listening and hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, let's do better and be better. And have a great weekend until next Friday. All right. Well, that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect the show to go that way. I don't know how much you could hear with a call, but hopefully you were able to hear a little bit of what he said, because he had some really, really good things to talk about. But everybody have a great weekend and try to see the movie Sound of Freedom. I'm hoping to get to see it over the next couple of days, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right, you take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.